Hello, good evening, and welcome to TTTV. My name is Andy, and tonight we are back for the second part of the Esports Mini League Asia and Pacific series. Looking forward to some more fantastic action after what we've seen last week. First of three rounds coming up is going to be from Singapore, and then we've got Suzuka, the Japanese Grand Prix, in Abu Dhabi to round off proceedings. My name, as I say, is Andy, joined this week in the commentary box by a Mr. Alan Kay. Alan, how are you doing this evening, mate?
How's Andy? Looking forward to this one. Watching from the wings last week was three very good and interesting races, and expect more of the same tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting indeed. We've obviously got the teams getting ready, just getting into their cars and getting ready in the lobby. Just a reminder of the settings: it's one shot qualifying, 25% racing, points available to every driver that finishes and in control of their car. That's obviously an important part for those who ghost out, obviously. And I'll run through the order in just a wee second. But one thing just to point out is that CPI have dropped out, having taken part last week. They're not here this week, and we're just going to continue on with the four teams that were there as well beyond that. So the standings are VSR Visceral Racing lead the way on 205 points. TT Gaming sitting in second on 155, One Hub Racing on 126 and third, and Innovate are in fourth on 79. But a couple of these tracks tonight, Alan, I've heard a few people saying, especially Singapore, are definitely more of a pad circuit. It can be quite good for pad users, one or two of these. Now, you've played this game a darn sight more than I have. That's why I sit here in the commentary box with a microphone. Is that a fair representation around some of these tracks, would you say?
Um, Singapore, yes and no, in a sense that it's better for a pad in the terms of the amount of 90-degree corners. It's easier for your steering control with your analog compared to the fine controllable wheels. Say the second track we go to Japan, which would be very much a wheel-based track. But Singapore, yes, it does help the steering. But with the current game we're on, the 2018 game, and the tyre model within the game has kind of um, made it a bit more difficult for pad users in terms of keeping tyre temperatures under control. And unfortunately, although Singapore being a track where pad users can get more speed through the corners and stuff and maybe a bit quicker than a wheel user, they are also at the mercy of the it's one of them tracks where tyre overheating is seriously chronic unless you're really good on their tyres around here. Abu Dhabi, yes, I would say would probably be maybe certain parts of it would be better for a wheel, but the whole you're looking at the whole third sector being better for a pad, so that a lot of pad users could make up major time over a wheel user through that sector.
Definitely. So it'll be interesting to see how all of that pans out through this evening. Don't forget, obviously, if you want to follow through all the streams, it's going to be three separate streams, one for each race. We won't finish the first stream to go on to the next one until Alan has managed to get the points tallied up so that we have that ready. So we'll keep the stream live until Alan's totaled things up, and then we will drop on and drop into the second stream. So if you want to follow along, and obviously do subscribe to TTTV as well, and obviously it'll notify you of when you get any of the races starting from this league tonight. Also from the other leagues that go on as well: TTL F1, TTL F2 tomorrow night. You got TTFL, which is just finished up for the season as well. TTL F1 soon to finish and going into season 13. So plenty going on. Project Cars starts next Saturday as well, so I'll be back here in the commentary booth at 8 p.m. for the new Project Cars League, which is the Formula C cars. And Alan, you're actually going to be one of the participants in that. You've been doing a
I'll
little bit
be
of
out on
practice.
track in that, yeah. I'll be out on track. I've been doing we had a practice session on Wednesday night, a couple of us that are in the league, so it was a good bar of, or measure of bar of who's around, and looking forward to a bit more practice this week before we get going, but confident.
Sounding very confident indeed. Well, I'll be up in the box for this one. It'll be 8 o'clock next Saturday. If you do want to join, there's still a couple of spaces going. If you do want to join in for next Saturday, it's 8 weeks, 2 races an evening as well. So plenty of action in there. Just waiting on the drivers readying up, I believe. So I do think everybody's in the lobby. And to be honest, I can see 2 Mercs, I can see
Yeah.
2 Renaults. I think everybody's in.
I think there was a delay with an Innovate driver, but I think it's been resolved now.
Okay. So we're just holding off then, waiting for that to go. But I think, no, there's 16 drivers ready to rock and roll, so I think we've got everybody here
Yeah,
now. So hopefully the
yeah, we're
drivers will start
starting
readying
ready up
up.
there now.
Yeah, good stuff. So we'll be able to get starting and get going very shortly indeed. If any of the drivers can hear me, you can hit ready and let's get started with the action this evening. Starting off in Singapore, the drivers are going to have plenty to do this evening because out of the tracks that we've got here, Singapore, Marina Bay, Suzuka in Japan and Abu Dhabi, Singapore's got 23 turns, Suzuka 18 and Abu Dhabi 21. So there's plenty for the drivers to do this evening, and especially with this first race around the Marina Bay circuit in Singapore. It's one of the toughest
That
tracks
stat
in the
there, Andy's
calendar.
kind of a little bit misleading with the 21 turns at Abu Dhabi. Um,
Some of them
don't
aren't
think it
really corners.
emphasizes how much, yeah, don't think it emphasizes how much more you have to work at Singapore than Abu Dhabi, even though there's only 2 more corners.
No, definitely. It's one of the toughest tracks in the calendar. Even when the normal league races going to 50%, they're usually going much longer than any other race on the calendar. It's
Personally,
just
as
so
well,
long.
with me who races on a wheel, it's when you're constantly actually using the wheel and specifically with high force feedback, and you're with such a long race, it does actually feel you do feel the extra work in your arms come the end of the race.
Definitely is going to be one of those ones. A few drivers ready and up. We are getting ready to get underway. We're now getting the timer countdown, and we have 16 drivers in the lobby, which is exactly what we need. 16 drivers from the remaining 4 teams, 4 drivers per team. And I'll just quickly go to it. I did have it up here. I'll give you the details. So the Mercedes and the Renault is Innovate, which is a Spanish team. The Ferrari and the Sauber is One Hub Racing. VSR, Visceral Racing, have got the Haas and the Force India, and TTG have the Toro Rosso and the McLaren. No Red Bull and Williams, because that was CPI GP1 as they used to be called, and they have dropped out of the proceedings. So we've got 4 teams, 16 drivers. It's still going to be good. And what that means as well, of course, Alan, is that there's more chance now to pick up some more extra points. Instead of finishing maybe 20th, finishing in 16 is going to gain your team an extra 4, 5, 6 points
Yeah,
than what it
because
used
the
to do.
point
So it makes a
system
difference.
remains. Yeah, the points for system remains the same, so it's still got it's extra points for teams. Um, and if there's any drivers that maybe were coming into, specifically this race, thinking, "Oh God, my tire temperatures," that's going to be less of a points drop for them as well as a points gain for other teams. So.
So definitely be interesting. The drivers will be starting to get their setups ready. We'll see who we jump on board with to go around the hot lap of the circuit. And there we go, just waiting on the teams getting readied up here. A few people down in the chat already. You can see Javier Piloto, someone shouting out for Flying Finn in there as well, who's I believe actually on the track, so he's dropping in early doors just to give us a wee shout there. So do join in. Shout out for who you are supporting here tonight over tonight's free streams. We're going to see everybody, I would imagine, on the Hypersofts for this, because not too much of an issue, you would think, in terms of tyre wear, because it's a 25% race, but you never know. Someone might take the chance, go for those ultra softs and see if they can just stretch it out, gain a few places during the pit stop phase. Just waiting on everybody ready and up, and then we can hopefully get going. Always a fun one. Here we go. So there we go. So we're on board with Dainster in the Sauber, heading down towards turn number 1. DRS is wide open, looking for your braking point, just around about 75 metres down into turn 1. Down to 4th gear, turn 2 is easy enough, and then turn 3, but be patient on the throttle, use the curb on the exit. Turn 4 is not even a corner, and then into turn 5 you need a really good exit out of here, because it is the DRS all the way down Raffles Boulevard through turn 6, which is just this flat out right-hander, heading towards turn 7. This is going to be one of the major overtaking points. 75 metres one more time. 3rd gear, Dainster looking very good through there, and then down to this twisty section. second gear 50 miles an hour for the right-hander, and then up into turn number 9. Just want to avoid the wall on the exit there. We now head up to turn 10 where the old Singapore swing used to be. Caught a number of drivers out before. We go through turn 10 and then into turn number 11. We go across turn 12 over the Anderson Bridge, and another braking point down into here where you could see some overtaking in the race as we head on to the Esplanade Drive, heading down towards turn number 14. Hard on the brakes one more time, third gear, 60 odd miles an hour. You can use a bit of the runoff in the exit there. We go through turn number 15 and 16, and then we're into this tricky little section where you come past the stadium, you got the marina to your right hand side, and then you go underneath the grandstand here through turn 17, 18, 19, and then into turn 20, nice and easy on the throttle. Get the power on, just clip the wall nearly, just brush it on the way past. Into turns 22 and 23, try not to run too wide to invalidate your lap. Dainster goes across in 7th, but it is VSR 1-2 as Blizzard takes pole position. We are 1:33.4, and that's nearly 5 tenths clear, nearly half a second clear of anybody else. That's a really good lap time from Blizzard. Recently crowned TTL F1 champion for a 4th time, and he's setting down a marker this evening.
And an Innovate driver in third. I didn't get to see who it was. I'm just saying it was the American third. So, and here's the results from that qualifying session. So VSR Blizzard in first, Flying Finn second, Javier Vera third, Squeezy fourth, Sinclair fifth, Lambo sixth, Dainstar seventh, Z Reflow 8th, Doncool 9th, Victor 10th, Magic 11th, White 12th, Louis 13th, Bora 14th, Cole 15th, and Ironix 16th. Andy, out of the drivers outside the top 10, Louis is the big surprise there for me. How about yourself?
It's a tricky one. I mean, they're all good drivers, and around here, when you're really pushing it, it's very easy to invalidate a lap time. So to see a few of them maybe just having a few issues dropping out gives them the chance, though, if they fancy going for the ultra soft, just to run a little bit longer into the race rather than putting the hyper softs on at the start. It could make it very interesting. I can't remember who it was that finished in 10th place, but they did qualify on the ultra softs. So obviously they'll start the race on that tyre, as is the rules of course. It'll be interesting to see how many others go for that outside of the top 10. But VSR 1-2 stamping authority already onto proceedings. They've got themselves a 50-point lead in the race for the title here this evening, and that is a very good start indeed. We've got One Hub Racing dropping into the chat. We've got Innovate's Johnny V. I thoroughly pronounced it wrong, I do apologise, but he's shouting for Innovate obviously. Silent TV is saying something that I'm not too sure about, Geordie EMP, so I'm not too sure who that is, but there you go. But we appreciate everybody coming along and dropping in. So tyres, your top 10 obviously start on the qualifying tyres. It was Victor for Innovate in the Renault, who is on the Ultra Softs. You've also then got Magic in the other Renault, he's on Ultras. White Fountain in the Ferrari, he's on the Ultras as well. Then it's Lewis and Bohr who have gone for Hypers, while Poe and Larynx, is that how you say it? You probably know it better than me, but they're on the Ultras.
Larynx, I say it.
Ironics, right? That'll do me. My pronunciation is terrible as it is. I can pronounce the places in Scotland like Tynabrook and Auchtermuchty, but I can never pronounce anybody's names correctly, and that's just one of the joys that I have to deal with on a regular basis. But we've got, what have we got? 15 laps. 15 laps here, Alan. Who do you fancy? Who should we be looking out for around this twisty Marina Bay track?
I suppose the man on form at the moment, Mr. Blizzard, anyway, is one definitely to be keeping an eye on. Out of, I suppose, you need to pick a man from each team. Squeezy be the TTG driver to be watching. He did a very good week with that last week in his 3 races. A bit more luck and he could have picked up more points. Dainstar done well last week as well. He started from the further back a lot before picked up a lot of points, so he's got a 7th place start here. Let's see if we can continue his pattern of finishing higher than when we qualified. And then again, as I say, Louis down the back and maybe Paul, 2 surprise drivers to be that far down. Keep an eye on them coming through the field. Particularly with the opposite strategies the two have. They're both shown they can battle each other. So let's see how these both different strategies go.
Definitely be interesting to see how that plays out. Dainstar, as you were mentioning there, driving for one hub, done well last week, but got caught up in a few incidents as well, which dropped him through the field. So we're hoping to avoid any problems here this evening. Squeezy's been very quick in these races, probably been the leading TTG driver as well. Obviously Blizzard, we've just been speaking about, TTL F1 champion for a 4th time, and obviously the other guys from VS are amazing. He is, absolutely.
As well.
So we're lining up now on the grid, getting ready to start proceedings for this evening. 16 drivers, 5 red lights. We're waiting for them to go. It happened last week. And we are underway here in Singapore. Let's see who's going to make a good start and go back to the front. And it is Blizzard who gets into turn 1 first. Eddie's teammate Flying Finn Squeezy is trying to get by Javier in 3rd place and 4th. Sinclair. Dainstar having a fight. Lambo is dropping back through the field already, and they're battling all the way through the field. But Blizzard already out in front has managed to get through as they come through onto Raffles Boulevard for the first time. In the background there, Reflow just getting past of a Lambo there. They're going side by side coming down towards turn 7. Does Lambo fancy taking the place back? He does not, and now Lambo has to be careful. Side by side. Oh, Reflow and everyone, it's just going off everywhere.
It's contact between Victor and White Fountain in the background, and that's just a slight little contact on the back wheel of White Fountain, and it sent them sideways across the track.
Yeah, we just caught the end of that one there. Also caught up with Larynx as well. We've got a yellow flag further ahead also. I'm unsure what that is at the moment, as Don Cool nearly goes into the back of Lewis. Okay, so keep an eye on things. Those guys at the back will need to come into the pits because there will be damage to those cars. But up front, Blizzard has maintained his lead from pole position. His VSR teammate Flying Finn in 2nd. Javier is held on to 3rd position at the moment, but he's nearly a second back as well now from the 2 VSR drivers. Squeezy in 4th place in the McLaren for TTG. He's got his TTT teammate Sinclair in 5th, Dainstar in 6th, Lambo 7th, with Reflow 8th, Lewis in 9th. Doncool just clipping the wall there coming out of turn 20. Needs to be careful not to do that too much, that could cause him damage. But he's in 10th place, and he's got TTG Pole coming up behind as Boar makes his way past Magic's. Magic's into the pits, so he's obviously had some damage on lap 1 as well, being on those ultra softs. He would not want that.
This is going to bring in another strategy here, because these guys are going to want to go on to the softs now. Yeah, you can see Magic taking a set of softs, so we actually brought the soft tire into play here now, and for these few guys, so it's going to be making it a little bit more interesting.
Move for the lead there is Flying Finn.
For IVR Victor, he had to double stack behind his teammate there in the Renault, so that's going to cost him more time.
Definitely. So we had a move for the lead there into turn 7. You've seen on screen Flying Finn getting past Blizzard. Blizzard not making it too difficult there. They are both on the same team for Visceral Racing here this evening, so playing a bit of the tactical game. No point fighting each other and costing themselves time over the rest of the field. Coming over the Anderson Bridge towards Esplanade Drive for the 2nd time. Javier still holding on nicely out there in the 3rd. Squeezy not able to get close enough at the moment. Sinclair playing a nice little rear gunner to the McLaren as well. Dainstar still holding off Lambo and Lewis in there as well. So VSR have got all 4 of their drivers in the top 10 at the moment.
Positions for now.
Yeah, just caught the end of that one there as the Salby. Doncool went past Pole in the McLaren down towards turn number 14 on the exit, so looked like a decent move there. We just caught the end of that one. But coming at the end of lap 2 now, the important bit here now is obviously 2 parts. One, those guys in the soft tyres, how quick can they get them up to temperature, how quick can they come back up towards the pack, and then the second part, how long can those on the hyper softs go, as DRS is now enabled as well. So that's going to throw another element into play as they head down towards turn number 7. How many laps do you think these hypers will go for, Alan?
I think maybe if you see Doncool getting a bit slidey there on the hyper, so if guys are getting slidey on them and overheating them, you could see them coming in this lap. I can't see them going much further than lap maybe 5 or 6 anyway, with guys even keeping them in check. There's not much benefit in a 15% race. There's not much benefit to stretching the hyper even if you're able to. So you will see guys pit maybe if you're decent on your tire, you'll pit at the time, the correct time. If not, you'll pit a bit earlier. You can't see any stretching.
Definitely. So, especially in these shorter races, as I say, there's not much point as we're watching Lewis there go around the outside of Danestar, coming towards the Anderson Bridge. De Salva got himself out of place, coming through turn number 10. That allowed De Haas to go around the outside, and now he's under threat from Lambo in the Force India. He's got the outside line coming up to turn 14. Can he get on the brakes later? It looks like he's been pushed a little bit wide. De Salva's still there on the inside. We're on board with the Force India. We switch back off. Are they coming through this section? They're still side by side. And look at the Ferrari. Look at the Ferrari of Reflow. He's going to take advantage. And Lambo's getting pushed by Reflow. Danestar, I'm sure, won't be too chuffed at the visceral driver there. Maybe felt a little bit pushing, but Lambo got the move done as Javier has moved up into second place as Blizzard comes into pit lane.
Into the pits as well there in the Force India.
Danestar's followed him in, so here comes the pit stops as Bohr comes into pit lane as well. So we've got Blizzard, Lambo, Danestar and Bohr all into pit lane. That puts Flying Finn out into first place on lap number 4. He's got 2.5 seconds over Javier, with Squeezy in third, Sinclair in fourth, right behind the McLaren driver, with Lewis now up to 5th place with Reflow 6th. Doncool is in 7th place and up right behind Reflow, with Poe in 8th chasing them down. Blizzards came back out on the soft tyres, as has Lambo.
Just about to say that, and as you can see, Danestar and Bohr have gone for the ultra softs. So that's a sign to me, Andy, that Lambo and Blizzard were struggling with tyre temperatures, so they've gone for the harder tyre to keep them alive longer. Where Danestar and Bohr are going for an undercut style pit stop, where they're confident they can keep the tyres in.
Oh, there's Poe into the wall there. Into turn number 10, he's lost some of his front wings side by side with Doncool there. He had a run, but nowhere to go, and the McLaren into the wall. He's lost the front wing end fence here. You'll see it in just a moment. As he comes down here on the left-hand side, as we look at it, his right.
Salvers have been in the thick of the action so far.
Definitely so, plenty of action going on through the field, and if you look further back, the soft runners, White Fountain, Magic, Larynx and Victor. Well, Victor's dropped off the back of her, but these three are having a little bit of a scrap down towards the bottom end of the field, but they could still come back into play later on in this race, so don't count them in out of this one yet. They could still pick up some decent points as Javier comes into pit lane along with Squeezy, and Magic's picked up the first 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. We're on board with the Renault driver at the moment. Lewis into the pits, Reflow, Doncool, they're all in the pits. Poe's in with that damaged wing.
So it's the Flying Finn and TTG Sinclair, the only two not to stop so far.
Flying Finn obviously stretching this out a little bit. He feels a bit comfortable maybe. He wants to put those ultra softs on towards the end of the race. Obviously Sinclair is just dragging this one out a wee bit more as well. We'll just see where everyone comes back out. Blizzard has now moved up back into third place. Javier has came out behind Blizzard and a lot closer to the Haas driver as well, so that's worked out pretty nicely for the Mercedes.
Right behind them there as well with the tyre advantage, so watch that develop.
Yellow flag somewhere in sector 1 there. It has disappeared, unsure what had caused that one. But that's worked out well for Javier, because he was a bit further back behind Blizzard, and obviously Blizzard getting caught up in the traffic, having pitted the lap earlier, has just allowed him to just close up the gap a little bit there. But Blizzard is now starting to put his foot down and show that turn of pace that we know he's more than capable of doing. We're on lap number 5 of 15, a third of the race already down.
Might have felt a bit hard done by a little tap by Lambo when he was passing him, but he's actually fell out in a nice position here. He's just behind Lambo and Lewis now with the tyre advantage. And if he can get by Lambo and have a go at Lewis, you never know, he could find himself getting good points here.
Definitely, so we're just picking up the action here from those two. Lambo 7th, Danestar in 8th, the Ferrari Reflow's just in behind in 9th. Just as you were saying that there, Danestar did pick up a 3-second time penalty. That will come into effect in such a short race. Sinclair has came into pit lane to get rid of his hypersofts. He's gone now on to the ultra softs. Flying Finn stays out for another lap.
I think that could possibly be the wrong call. I don't see any reason why you would extend the hypers in a sprint race like this.
Here goes Javier.
Let's see.
Definitely, so here goes Javier and Squeezy as Sinclair comes out of pit lane behind him. This is now for the final podium position, and that McLaren's looking a lot more racier and faster than the Mercedes at the moment. The ultra softs against the soft tyres. You can see Blizzard just going through the screenshot there. DRS open coming down Raffles Boulevard. Javier goes to the inside to defend. Squeezy to the outside. Can he go the long way round and take the place? He's caught the Mercedes a little bit there. Good save by Javier.
Bit front wheel to rear wheel contact before it's supposed to be unfortunate, but not much each driver could have done there.
Yeah, I would put it down to a racing incident just as they were coming round, just thinking they had a wee bit more room than needed there, but good save from the Spaniard to keep himself in position, still scoring some really good points.
Sinclair as well, even with the save, so good driving.
Lambo has been passed, Dainstar's been passed by Reflow, so Dainstar's had an issue during that last lap there where we were watching the battle with Squeezy and Javier.
Dainstar's got his teammate on the other side, approaching quickly now from behind as well, so dropping backwards on Dainstar.
Definitely so. Be interesting to see obviously what the point situation is looking at, but VSR obviously doing what they need to do. They've got the first two positions.
In the pits now, coming down pit lane, whereabouts is Blizzard? Blizzard's coming around the final corner. I think Blizzard might get out ahead of the front fin here. Front fin accelerates. There's Blizzard. He puts a little bit, but Blizzard is true ahead of him. And Squeezy's going to be right on the back of him here.
Definitely so. Squeezy just closing back up. Doncool's gone past Dainstar, so one Silver passes the other. Dainstar does look like he's maybe struggling a little bit at the moment. We're trying to run through the field and follow as much of the action as possible. Laranix is trying to chase down White Fountain in the Ferrari. Reflow's catching up to the back of Lambo, who's catching up to the back of Lewis, so there's plenty going on. Sinclair's now
on the back of Javier.
Now on the back of Javier, you're absolutely correct. Flying Finn's not far off a Blizzard. Squeezy with it nearly within a second as well. And the Toro Rosso driver here just needs to play it cool. Looks like he's got a pace advantage at the moment. Those Ultra Softs working a bit nicer at the moment than the softs on the Mercedes, so just needs to get a good run here over the Anderson Bridge out of this left-hander of turn number 13 and a good run down Esplanade Drive.
Left line for him back through,
definitely a tactical decision.
So that's a tactical decision, and now Blizzard on the soft toes will try and hold up Squeezy to stop Squeezy from attacking the front.
Definitely got to be the strategy there for those guys, as Sinclair still chasing down Javier. Squeezy nearly on the back of these guys. Squeezy's looking a lot faster in this phase of the race than he did early.
Coming out of Anderson Bridge.
There's Laranix, there we go.
Can he make a mistake? And do get a bit sideways? Touch of weird for Laranix. He didn't hold it in there for the inside, so he's going to follow him through the stadium section and maybe have a go again then in the start finish shape. And
we just caught the end of that move there. That was Sinclair around the outside through turn number 1 using the DRS to his advantage, and he goes past Javier as well. Can the Spaniard fight back down the DRS down at Raffles Boulevard towards turn number 7?
Toro Rosso's looking racy at the moment.
Definitely in good. Javier not able to do anything at the moment.
Alex now has the DRS open and having a go on White Fountain. He thinks better of it, tucks back in. Pick up the DRS, straight down.
Here's Lambo and Reflow having a bit of a ding-dong there, just cut across. It looked like they were touching wheel to side pod, nearly a bit of an incident there. Reflow's ahead of the Force India and up into 7th place, but Lambo, we know he's a quick driver, he will not take that one lying down. The season 11 TTL F1 champion, having to give up his crown to Blizzard for season 12. He'll be trying to win that one back in season 13, I'm absolutely sure of that. Oh, the Salva there, that was Doncool getting a bit sideways coming onto
the Boulevard. Up towards where the guys were talking about from the Ronix for a second. We got side by side with White Fountain down Raffles Boulevard, but just couldn't make a move stick. And here they are through Anderson Bridge again, and still no dice, no opportunity to pass for the Ronix, but he's keeping the pressure on.
Back up front though, look at this, the leaders are separated by a second between the top 3. Squeezy is right there with both Flying Finn and Blizzard coming through the first section. He's going to be really close to Blizzard as they come along to Raffles Boulevard down towards turn number 7. Of course, Blizzard's going to have the DRS as well, and he can't play rear gunner here. He's
Oh,
got
a
to
little
think
bit
about it.
sideways there.
Sideways out of the corner, here we go. Can Squeezy get close enough? Will Blizzard have a go at his teammate as well? As there's time penalties getting picked up across the board, but no changes going on there.
I wonder here, is the Flying Finn actually trying to save a little bit of them tyres for the very end of the race? Because with Blizzard being on the soft tyre and how quick the Flying Finn went by him coming out of the pits, you would have expected the Flying Finn to pull away from him a bit with Blizzard being the buffer. It hasn't happened.
Definitely not. He's maybe just struggling with the temps. Maybe can't get him to work properly. Meanwhile, back down the pack, Lambo, Reflow, Don Cooler having a bit of a scrap as well, coming through turn number 10 towards the Anderson Bridge. You can see Lewis not too far ahead in 6th place. So we've got battles everywhere. White Fountain and Larynx having a battle through turn 7.
IVR bar, and that is closing in on Dangstar as well. So
going off all over the place. Anybody fancy a lunge into turn 14? No. And Squeezy picks up a 3-second time penalty. He's pushing just a bit too hard. That might come back later on to bite him. He's got Sinclair in behind at the moment.
Right on the gearbox of Reflow, and you've got Danko right behind the gearbox of Lambo here.
Coming through the stadium, underneath the grandstand there, into turns 9, 20, 21. Oh, the Salva clipping the wall there on the exit as they head up towards 22 and 23. Does Lambo fancy a chance, or does Doncool fancy having a go at the Force India? Reflow goes defensive into turn 1. He's able to hold the position for now, but it's all going off. Larynx has finally got past White Fountain, and it's taken him a number of laps, but he's through. And that was just around the Marina section as well, as back up front.
Up ahead we have Darren Sinclair has closed up on the back of the front three now that switches the baton, and Squeezy gets a bit sideways there.
Got a 4-way scrap now for the lead of the race. Lambo side by side with Reflow still coming into turn number 8. He squeezes the Ferrari towards the wall, just gives him enough space to get by, and he's got the move done on the Ferrari now. Doncool was Reflow actually gets out of the way because that's one hub teammates there, so being strategic there. But we've got 4-way scrap now. Up front it's 2 VSR drivers versus 2 TTG. Squeezy goes for the inside line. He's unable to get the move done, avoids contact there. That could have been bad. He's just able to avoid hitting Blizzard. But we've
driving with some of these guys, I'm not too sure how the Flying Finn is on his penalties, but especially with the three behind having experience driving a lot with them, Blizzard and Squeezy tend to pick up a lot of penalties. TTG Sinclair doesn't, so that could play in his favour come the finish line here.
It definitely could. Penalties will make a big difference. They always do in this environment.
Darren has a move now on Squeezy. Squeezy, that's TTG Sinclair throws out.
Definitely, so that was tactical there. Still getting more chats, and a quick shout. Hi Jess, thanks for joining us. Lovely to see you along supporting your VSR teammates here this evening. We're getting a great scrap here. Lap 11 off 15 coming up towards the end of race number 1. Flying Finn, Blizzard, Sinclair, Squeezy. 1, 2, 3, 4 down towards turn number 7. No moves going on there as Boar for Innovate goes past Danestar for 10th place. So that's another move as Reflow goes past Doncool.
Positions again. Their teammates swapping positions, trying to have a go at Lambo. I think it's
Sinclair's looking racy. They're trying their best. Sinclair's looking racy. He's all over the back of that Haas. And coming over.
As you can see now, the Flying Finn is starting to pull a gap out as he accelerates out of corners now, so I think he might have been trying to just make sure them tyres had plenty in them if he needed them at the end.
It does look like that indeed. Blizzard is obviously now playing definitely the rear gunner role. These two guys for VSR, they want to hold that position there. They want to keep that 1 and 2, and this is perfect start for them, considering they've got a 50-point lead. That just consolidates it even more. But TTG, who are their closest challengers, have got Sinclair and Squeezy right behind them as they come up to start. Lap number 12 is just clipping the wall there out of turn number 21, and Squeezy's just dropped off the back here. He's just about within DRS range at the moment. He needs to stay close enough because Javi is just there in the background.
Closing in the background, yeah. And interestingly, as we go on to lap 12 of a race, especially at this pace at Singapore, all 16 drivers that started still running, Andy.
Absolutely, Singapore's usually one with a high rate of attrition, and to see everybody still in here, we've seen a couple of spins and incidents, but nothing too major, thankfully. Here goes Sinclair, looking on the back of Blizzard. He's having to back out of that one there, so we'll jump back to Don Cool, who's on the back of his One Hub teammate Reflow in the Ferrari, and we'll see.
Yep. Back.
There we go, back here, Poe on Dainstar. Doncool's gone past Reflow, the Ferrari getting out of the way as they play tactical orders one more time rather than fighting with each other. Does Poe fancy a chance on the back of Dainstar?
Not far away from Bar either, so.
On board with McLaren. Salva goes to the inside, Poe goes to the outside, they're wheel to wheel.
Wheel to wheel. And again, staying side by side. Touching side pods, but clean racing, good racing from these guys.
Yeah, very good racing from both of them there. Poe does look a bit quicker at the moment. He's not going to try something into turn 10. That's not an overtaking opportunity. You need to be a bit more patient. Get a good run over the Anderson Bridge, and see he's just been a bit impatient there. Picked up a free pecking penalty.
8 laps on these ultra softs, so maybe, as I say, I was thinking it might have been an undercut on for the two Dainstar and Ball. It looks like maybe we're struggling under all the first set of tyres, and maybe should have went softs with the rest of the guys, but it looked like they're struggling now, particularly Dainstar.
Well, Dainstar did drop off early doors on those hypersofts as well, so maybe his setup's a bit too aggressive on the tyres. Sinclair has just got himself past Blizzard.
Yeah, past Blizzard.
Just
he
missed
chased
it.
down the flying fin now, and not much to separate them.
Not much going on. Squeezy's now right up to the back of Blizzard one more time, so it's VSR, TTG, VSR, TTG, 1, 2, 3, 4. And does the Toro Rosso fancy trying to take a victory here for TTG, or can Flying Finn hold on? Poe has got past Dainstar. They're actually swapping positions. Oh, just caught that there. Dainstar caught the rear wheel off the McLaren. Poe caught the slide. He's just checking his car there for damage, and he's managed to hold that one off there, but we need to jump back towards the front.
Oh, looks like Kyle was front wing now.
Top 4 over the Anderson Bridge and down towards the Esplanade Drive one more time. Blizzard getting sideways, Squeezy a bit drifting on the exit there. But Flying Finn looks like he's in control at the moment, looking okay. He's pretty much led from the start of the race, apart from a little bit of the first lap until Blizzard let him through. Playing the team game, because it is all about the team game here tonight. Obviously you want to win for yourself, but it's all about your team. As Reflow and Doncool swap places one more time down below as Magic sets the fastest lap of the race, a 36.9. Now he's made a second stop. Yeah, he made a second stop a couple of laps ago, so he's obviously got much better tyres at the moment. Sinclair has dropped off the back of Flying Finn. He's actually now out of DRS range on the penultimate lap, so he's now open to an attack from Blizzard behind, but Blizzard's not quite close enough to be able to make a move.
DRS as well.
Yeah, so we know Sinclair's not got it, Blizzard's not either, and neither has Squeezy. So none of the top 4 have got DRS. Javier is now under 2 seconds, so this is not over yet. Penalties will come into it.
The Leaflow Doncool teammates battle still rages on as well.
Yeah, these two are still having a little bit of a move. They're just passing and repassing each other, just trying to keep out each other's way as the race comes towards its conclusion. So we're going to stick with the battle up front. Sinclair's gained a lot of time there. He's now right on the back of that Force India. Here we go.
Still Blizzard still out DRS round, so desperately trying to get back into DRS round to see if he can even put some sort of pressure on Sinclair to help his team in. Right in behind his gearbox now.
Definitely, so we're on for a grandstand finish here as we come up to start the final lap of the race in just a moment. And Sinclair in the Toro Rosso is right behind Flying Finn, coming through the grandstand section, underneath the grandstand, through the left-hander, and then into the second part with turn 20, 21. Can he get a good exit here? Finn's sliding it out of 21. Coming through 22, avoid getting off the curbs. Finn running a bit wide. Might have picked up a warning there onto the final lap of the race. He's got one more main chance with DRS. Let's see what he can do. It's down here, down Raffles Boulevard towards turn number 7. Let's see what he can do. Flying Finn sliding. And Javier's right in the back of Squeezy, so there's plenty going on behind as well. That's Sinclair not close enough. Can Javier do anything on Squeezy? Poe's picked up a time penalty, so keep an eye on that. Alan, I'll let you get your pen ready to get everyone noted down, because you've got all 16 of them to write down, so I'll take this one to the flag, my friend, for you. You get the notes there so we can get the points right. We've got plenty going on though through the field. It's been a really, really good race, this one. And here we go, one more time over the Anderson Bridge. It looks like Flying Finn does have it in control here at the moment, but Sinclair's not going to give him a minute's piece.
On the final lap here as well.
Yeah, jump to that one there coming down DRS. This should be a relatively easy move for DRS, and he's got the move done before the braking zone. That's another move there. Moving TTG up ahead of another one hub driver. That'll help them out in the battle. But we come to the final few corners here, and it looks like it is going to be Flying Finn to take the victory. Still got a few corners to negotiate here, but he comes up to the line. Sinclair got close, looked like he might trouble the Force India for a moment, but as he comes through the final couple of corners, we'll wait to see how penalties might affect it. But Flying Finn crosses the line in first, Sinclair second, Blizzard in third. Squeezy comes across the line fourth, but drops to fifth as Javier goes up to fourth on penalties. Lewis comes through running wide in the last corner. He's going to cross the line in sixth place with Lambo in seventh, so that means VSR take 1, 3, 6 and 7, so really good for them. Don Cool loses it through the final corner, but he's going to take 8th place for One Hub with Reflow in 9th also for One Hub. IVR Bor is going to take 10th place on the road as White Fountain has just got past Danestar, who's still struggling. Poe crosses the line in 11th. Larinix is going to cross the line in 12th. White Fountain will take 13th as he crosses over. And Danestar finally crosses the line in 15th because Victor pipped him on the line but also on penalties. And the last one to cross the line is going to be Magic for Innovate. He did have to make a second pit stop, so either due to damage or possibly just completely wore the tyres out. He's going to be the last one to cross the line in 16th place. All 16 drivers completing the race distance here on the first race of the evening, and some really, really good battles through the field as well. But it's a really good start of the evening for Visceral Racing. They take first, third, sixth and seventh as Magic crosses the line, but it's Flying Finn who takes the win in round number 1, and it's a good start for the leaders of the Esports Mini League going into the last 2 rounds. Good race that, Alan.
Yeah, it's a very good race. There's good battles going on across the field, and I'm sure Visceral will be happy to have kept their noses out in front. TTG maybe could have put a bit more pressure on if they got a result there, but we've got Japan coming up. TTG get a victory there, could make it a nervy last race for VSR.
Definitely. So I'll let you complete the points off, and I'll run through the standings as they come up here in just a second. So Singapore Grand Prix, the first race of the evening. We've still got 2 more to go, and it is Flying Finn for VSR who takes the victory from Sinclair in second, Blizzard in third and Javier in fourth for Innovate. In the top 4, no penalties at all. Squeezy in 5th, Lewis in 6th, and it was Lambo in 7th, Doncool 8th, Reflow 9th and Bor in 10th for Innovate, and Lambo, Doncool, Reflow and Bor didn't get penalties either. Poe in 11th, Larinix in 12th, White Fountain 13th, Victor 14th, Danestar 15th and Magic finishing in 16th, but he did pick up the fastest lap of the race, having gone on to Rose Hypersauce at his second stop. So really, really good first race there. We'll obviously keep the stream running just now until Alan has done the totals of the points. So and obviously it is, you've got them already. You work quick, my friend.
So after round 4 we have Visceral VSR on 279 points, TTGaming on 212, One Hub Racing on 165 and Innovate on 121.
Good stuff. So Visceral Racing actually increased their lead slightly there over TTG, so they'll be pretty happy with that. Innovative got up a little bit on One Hub as TTG pull ahead a bit off One Hub Racing, so they'll be happy with that, even though they have lost a bit of ground to VSR, but there's still 2 more rounds to go. Next up is the Japanese Grand Prix in Suzuka. Stay tuned to the channel, this stream is going to end, and we'll start up a fresh one for the Japanese Grand Prix for the second race of the night in a couple of minutes time. Don't go anywhere.